A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University for the Storm Report. Season number 2, episode 1. And for those of you in higher math, this is actually episode number 25 through the course of 2 seasons. We welcome in the head coach of ACU football, Mr. Jeff Bowen, and of course, my co-host of the Storm Report each and every week is my broadcast partner, Mr. Ed Cole. So, gentlemen, I welcome each of you to tonight's Storm Report. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
Kevin, Coach, good evening.
Good evening.
Gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to begin the Storm Report, our second season now, and a thank you to all the people that helped participate in season number 1. Here today inside the Tower Grill, we're loaded up. We've got a lot of activity here inside the Tower Grill. Keith Sewell will join us here as well when we complete our conversation with Jeff Bowen. We'll also speak with 2 new captains that were named for the ACU football team. Tyler Duncan, the starting quarterback, will be with us, as well as our starting Mike Backer. Tank Stephon Peters will be here as well, so we'll check in with Mr. Peters. And, of course, Ed, we welcome you. How was your offseason, my friend?
Everything's good. Just ready to roll for season 2, for another season of ACU football. We got a new era. We've got night football coming up in a couple of days, Coach. We are excited about night football finally over here in Glendale.
JB, it's your 7th year here as the front man for ACU football, and I tell you what, I have been around here for almost 9 years now. It's been just that, 9 years, 1 year shy of a decade, and I tell you what, I've never been more excited about what is to come here come Saturday night as we play host to Texas Wesleyan, and that first one is going to be a dandy.
Oh, it's always great. Every year, there's anticipation to get back on the field. Every team in the country has that same feeling when you're wanting to play and get out and start knocking heads, and the boys of fall, man. Let's get after it.
JB, the one big difference about this particular game is that it will be the inaugural game under the lights at Firestorm Field, and that is a big deal. So congratulations to you, President Monsell, all the people that helped put this together. It'll be a great experience for these student athletes, and I tell you what, Ed and I are just going to be overjoyed to be part of that one.
Well, there's nothing better than college football on campus at night. It's just a whole different vibe, and we're excited about it. And we've had really good success on our home field since we've been playing here, and hopefully we're going to continue that under the lights. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Coach, of course, looking at your roster, there's a mix of veterans and newbies on the team. What do you like about your team so far, offense, defense, special teams, as we get ready to kick this off with Tex West on Saturday? Just
that. It's a good mix, The returners have done a great job. Our summer workouts were the best we've ever had. We had a good spring. We returned 102 guys. So that's the core of our defense. And this weekend we'll suit about 80 guys, and about 15 of those will be new guys with us. So it'll be their first night with the Firestorm. So it's a really good mix. I'm excited about the guys, and we'll have some fun with that too.
Coach, how many of the guys that you were able to recruit during the offseason in the spring and that actually were able to make a contribution for you here in the fall?
Well, our 2 deep is sprinkled with them. We also have some new guys that are starting. When you build a program, if you do it the right way, you just reload. You don't rebuild. And I think we've gotten it to that point. We have quality returners, but new guys that were with us last year now that are stepping into starting roles. And then we have a few guys that are actually just new to ACU football that'll be starting for us. So it's been a good blend. We've had a really good camp. I like their attitudes. I like the work they've been able to give us, and we're just focusing on what we are and what we need to do, and the rest will just take care of itself.
One of the mentioned about reloading at offensive line, Coach Nelson had talked about some of the guys that we're going to reload with. 3/5 of that line we're going to replace, including our center, Ryan Vanderwerf. What are you seeing develop there as position battles roll on for you here as we're just a few days away from game time?
Well, left tackle will still be Jesus Reyna, and he did a great job for us,
yes,
and he's got All-American potential. Left guard will be Will Chambers, or he'll be a redshirt freshman. He was with us last year. And Will's pound for pound one of our strongest guys, if not the strongest guy in our program. Kalen Merriman, he slides over from the left guard spot to center, and he played a lot of football, started a lot of games last year. And then we have two newcomers on the right side. Freshman Mason Cullip will be starting at right guard.
Okay.
And, he was highly touted out of high school. And, he's come in and took him a little bit to get his feet wet and kind of understand what we want and how we do things. But right now he's got that spot. And then we picked up a right tackle. He was from Arizona. He went to Fort Hays, and now he's back. And he'll be a freshman also. And it's Quincy Clemens out of Sunrise Mountain High School. Big road grader kid, about 6'5", 320, and he likes to put people on their back, so it should be fun.
6'5", 320, Ed Cole.
Yep,
we'll take some of that.
You can't teach size. You just put that guy out there and let him show his talents, right, Coach?
Let him do his thing.
Absolutely. So we talk about replacing offensive line 3/5. It's hard to replace a John Cole or a Sid Turnbull Frazier, your top two receivers from last year. What do you like about your wide receiving crew?
I love the depth. I mean, John did a great job, 2-year All-American for us, and we're proud of him and proud of what he's doing over in Europe right now. But with that being said, you're more balanced now. We have guys that have contributed in the past and had big games, and now they're going to get a chance to step into those starting roles. And Derek Anderson will play at the Z spot. The Y will be Clayton Dowdy, who played quite a bit last year, and we have another freshman in Fahey. He's come in and he doesn't play like a freshman. You guys are going to like watching this young man. He can play. Yep, Wyatt's doing some good stuff. Then you go over to the other slot, the H on the other side, Dion Gilbert, who played a lot of football for us last year and started some games, and Jonah Leone, who also plays on the baseball team here, and he was playing some last year. Those two will anchor it down, and then Bryce Washington is our transfer from the University of Houston. He's going to be in the mix at both those spots. And then you go to the outside, and you got Zach Cullip out there, and Brandon Johnson's had an awesome offseason, and those two guys will hold down that spot. So instead of attacking with 2, we're going to hit you with 8. So try to figure out where we're going to go with the ball.
Certainly nice to have Zach Cullip back in the mix. Of course, we call him Dad. We're having some fun with that, but he's a proud papa now.
Yep.
And I think he even came into camp with some funky shoes, some really unique slippers that we'll talk to the guys about perhaps. But just great to see that family environment still instilled here, that family tradition that you are very big on, Coach. But it's a great group, and you talk about a lot of chemistry there. We don't have that one dynamic player that JC brought to the game, but as you mentioned, we have a corral of guys that all are playmakers.
Well, we're going to spread it out and throw it around the ballpark, So if you can figure out who we're going to, more power to you. But there's 7 more that are going to come at you in waves. So just a different approach to the same style offense.
And, Coach, this is an offense that is averaging almost 4,000 yards a season. It's a prolific offense since you've taken over the reins a couple of years back. But oddly enough, the third leading rusher in the program's history is our quarterback, Tyler Duncan. So you get to use that game, the elements, the dual threat in Tyler's game as well.
Well, it's been since I learned the game of football, I learned that the more guys you have involved in what you're doing, the harder you are to defend. I've never been into the great man theory where it's just one guy and that guy gets it done for you. So to have a quarterback that can throw it and run it has always been a big thing for me in the development of our offenses. And Tyler does that. He's able to run around, do the things we like to do, and then when things break down, he's got a little bit of the it factor that I'm always looking for in a quarterback. I'd rather say whoa than giddy up, and I have to spend my time slowing him up.
And there's a new term that we bring to the table there when we talk about dual threat quarterbacks. It's the unannounced plays.
Oh, that's okay.
And the improvisational ability that Tyler Duncan might possess too. So big terms right there, guys.
Absolutely.
Big terms.
Coach, we know Keith Sewell's defense brings the noise. They bring the pain every single play. What do you like about your defense as you get ready for Saturday?
Well, we got a lot of returning guys, a lot of veterans that played a lot of football last year. We didn't finish where we wanted to, and the defensive guys know that, and they got a little chip on their shoulder, so I'm excited about that. And a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about our offense and what we've done. But I'm excited about where the defense is headed, and we're going to come at you like hockey waves. We're 8 deep on the defensive line, and they're just going to roll through there. We feel really solid with a linebacking core of 4 solid guys that can play in those 2 spots. And then in the secondary, we've brought in some new guys that can contribute. And then, we got some veterans holding it down back there too. So it's a good mix with a lot of depth. And I think, they're going to be able to play. They're going to play well. I just know in my heart that they don't like the way they finished up. And I expect them to do some really big things this year.
You're going to ask Coach the hard question: who's on that checking line of these these line
the hockey
shifts?
waves? Yeah.
I want to know who's on that checking line.
Yeah, who's
Coach.
on that checking line?
They come at you. Go with, Jalen Mitchell had a great summer for us. A leader, and then you got a young guy in Ben Strawn. You got Jake Farrell coming at you.
Marty Rodriguez.
Inside one of the tackle spots, Santan's in the mix inside. Who am I missing? I know there's a couple more guys that are rolling through there at the defensive end spots. A new guy in, Moses Smith, who plays the end spot. He was a nice transfer for us. The guy's got a really, really good motor. So the 4 edge rushers are going to do good things for us.
Coach, if you would, a quick comment on the schedule. We get Tex West to open things up, then 3 straight on the road. A little bit of a tough one there for you, but and then we, of course, we'll be waiting here for you when you get to take on the Spirit, our crosstown rivals. But what was your initial thought process on the schedule?
They didn't do us any favors, on the conference schedule. So we'll know. We'll know early. I'm excited about it because, we've been talking about it all along. It doesn't matter. They're this faceless players that happen to draw us on a Saturday. It's what we do, how we prepare with a purpose. And if the guys buy into that and continue to develop, then we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. We played on the road. We got an amazing road record, so it's not like we're all of a sudden going to fall apart because we got a few road games in a row.
I see opportunity, Coach. That's what I see right here. That's one that sets you up for that. Last thing before we part ways with you, Coach Keith Sewell, up next. But the way you talked about the chip on the shoulder about the defense, I thought the way that ACU football finished the season last year, winning 5 straight games, gave yourself every opportunity to get in the dance. Didn't work out that way, but I thought the way you finished the season was an explanation point. I thought that's how I would guess that you probably would be pleased on how you finished as well.
5 in a row is great, and this is the crazy thing about NAI football that people don't understand. In 2 years, we've lost 3 games, 3 regular season games. That's it. We're a good football team, and we got good football players, and they're going to play tough. It's just we got to make sure we do the little things so we don't have to rely on polls and votes or on the bubble. Let's just go play every Saturday, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. We just take care of what we take care of, and we'll be fine. But like I said, we've lost 3 games, 3 regular season games in 2 years. And Texas Wesleyan is a formidable opponent, and they gave us 2 of those 3 losses. So we're kind of gearing up for this game. We're excited about it.
We are all pumped up for this one. Tex West in the barn Saturday night. We'll have it for you on the GSAC Sports Broadcast Network, and you don't want to miss it. ACU and Texas Wesleyan come Saturday night. Kickoff at 7 p.m. We'll move on with the Storm Report. Keith Sewell, our defensive coordinator, joins us on the set right after this. We welcome you back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. And in the middle, the man on the main stage right now is our defensive coordinator, now in his 8th year, I believe. That's Keith Sewell joining us. Keith Sewell, welcome to the Storm Report. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
The pipes are working. Keith Sewell, always with that eloquent voice. But, Keith, let's talk a little D.
All right, let's talk about
D. We kind
D.
of just touched on the defensive line a little bit, so we'll just segue right to there. We're going to get into some Riley Tucker conversation in that secondary and, of course, those linebackers. But you have a special group. You're very, very deep, and you get a guy back that was kind of had a good camp last year, did a knee and Ben Strong, but you get him back, and he's had one whale of an offseason, Coach.
Well, he's been fantastic in the weight room and working out, so if that conveys to what he's going to do during the season, then it's going to be really good. Because, like Coach said, we're pretty deep up front. Mm-hmm. So we got it's like a hockey. It's like a hockey group, man. They're going to jump. They're going to jump the boards, run out there every few downs to make sure we're fresh.
Can you help us with the checking line, because we weren't quite dialed in on who was going to be out there? The enforcer.
You send the puck into the other end zone, and then you jump ship, and then the other 4 run onto the field. Right? Is that how it works?
Well, I mean, that's usually that is one type of a line change in hockey. Yes.
So we have Ben Strong, we have Farrell, we have Jalen Mitchell, we have Mo Powell, Maurice. I'll get it right. And then Santan. And so the guys that are back, we got Martin, who had an excellent first year as a freshman. So he's going to come back. He had a fantastic first game last year for us.
Yes, he did.
I think 2.5 sacks or something like that off the get-go. And then we have Christian Threadgill, and we have a few other guys, Moses Smith, who are the other end. So some of those guys are going to become pass rusher specialists, and some guys are run-down specialists.
Okay.
So we'll be able to intermix some of the speed and some of the bulk that we're going to need up front for some of these teams that we're going to play.
Fantastic.
Coach, when you have a defensive line that is that strong, what does that do for the defense, for the secondary?
Well, one, it helps get the ball out quicker. So anytime you don't have these guys running around the secondary, it's always easy to cover. So if they have a lot more time, I mean, Tex Wesleyan, they do max protect. They did it last year, and they try to stalemate what we bring up front. So they keep as many guys in, which, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in the secondary, they're gonna get you. And that's what happened to us last year. We had the game well in hand for 2 quarters, and all we did was let them back into it by letting them do what they wanted to do, which was, in this case, max protect and let their guys run around until they got open. So, and with their quarterback, he's a good scrambler, and he's going to be able to threaten you just like Tyler does, to threaten you with the run with his foot, and then can hit those open guys whenever he can find them out in the secondary. So that's what we got to eliminate. I talked to our guys today when we were doing our little meeting, and I said, there were 7 plays, second and third longs that we had last year that we gave up first down. So that's the 2nd and 8+ or 3rd and 8+, and all of those resulted in touchdown drives, or 4 of them resulted in touchdown drives. 2 of them resulted in immediate touchdowns. So, we lose 35-28. So, you look at the offense, you think, well, they had the ball turned over. Well, we could have controlled the game right there if we just done what we're supposed to do. And that's the part that our defense really struggled with last year, because we didn't finish the games the way we wanted to. We let teams back into it when we didn't need to. It could have been over quicker, and we didn't need to go to extra overtime or let the offense drive the last drive and kick a field goal or something like that. So, that's where we need to pick up the pace, because I think there's times where we get off the gas pedal. The offense is always on the gas pedal, as you said, 4,000 yards in a year. Well, defense has got to do the same thing. You can't let off the gas, because that's when you meet disaster for us, as that's the way it's been so far. So we're going to try to fix it this year.
Tell you what, it's the high octane mindset. You got to be prepared, right? It's a different mindset to continue. And and I guess in your defense, for ACU's offense, maybe your average of about 27 minutes of possession in a regular game. So your defense spent some time on the field. It's a quick, fast-paced type offense, quick strikes. So you're going to pay the price with that type of style.
I tell you what, I used to complain about it all the time. Honestly, I was like, geez, I mean, we're on the field more than you guys are offensively. But you know what? That's an opportunity for us, and you got to look at it a different way. You can look at it that way, or you can go ahead and take it as a badge of honor and say, look, they're putting us on the field because they know we can take care of business. And the quicker we get it to the offense, the quicker they go down and score. So
Right.
I like playing from, a point of, we're up by 28 or, 21 points. I like that. It's a little easier to call defense when you're up by 21.
And the key word was opportunity. We just talked about with that schedule. Opportunity knocks in any way you look at this.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a great Ed.
So when you go up against this prolific offense that we talk about in practice every single day, how has that made the defense better as they get ready for all this juggernaut of a sack schedule?
It makes us tired and very confused. That's the bottom line. So our young guys that come into camp, they don't understand what fast is. And so when you have extra receivers and the ball's always being placed down after the play is over with, you have no time to get ready for the next play other than get the call in. And so our guys learn how to play fast. So when you get into a game, it's like other teams' tempo is super slow for us. And so a lot of times you got to be careful because that can lull you to sleep as a defensive unit. So you got to really have them start thinking about, okay, who's in the game? What do they like to do with their personnel? And that's what we do. We try to attack every team that we have with whatever personnel they have. So we can get the right guys in the position, and it allows us to get more guys into the game because we're trying to play as many guys as we can. But here's the thing. We're deep enough that we can do that. So, guys can go, all out every play, and it doesn't matter if they're tired. They know if they have to tap out for a play, the guy coming in is just as good. And that's what the depth has allowed us. So hopefully that'll work out in game one. That's what we're planning on.
Absolutely. Well, it's a testament to the recruiting and the process led by Coach Bowen and the staff and everybody that puts this group together collectively. It's impressive to see these numbers and the growth here at ACU. We talk about Tex West in particular. Saturday night, we've talked about the two losses against those guys, 3-2 in our history with Tex West, but it's the last two that kind of linger, that foul taste in everybody's mouth. So we get them here in our barn again, and what do you expect from them? They've got returning leadership at the position in Dale, and they got two dynamic runners. So what's the mindset to defend those guys Saturday night?
Well, we got to be ready for the run. They set up their game plan by running the ball, and their quarterback is a dynamic guy, so he's going to be out in space running. He's a runner first and a passer second. But he can do all those things. The thing that's better for them is that they're all back. They don't really have anybody at a position that hasn't been there before. Up front, they have all the returning starters. And then the backfield, number 3, was a backup last year, but now he's the main man.
Williams.
And then obviously they have a couple wideouts that were getting plenty of time last year, but now they're the guys. So they've done really well with what they've done up front. So our job is to make sure that, one, we set the tone early, and we understand it when they bring in their tight end sets because they like to play games. This is one of the teams that does a lot of tight end sets. And for us, it's a little different because when you're in a shootout with a lot of other teams, the wide open passing games that they do, they don't have a whole lot of tight end sets. This team does. So it helps us get ready for teams down the road if they do want to run tight ends, and it gets us ready to go right now because we've got to start doing it now with tight end sets. So it's important that we are able to line up. I think we have the beef and the guys that we can do that with. And then with our backer play, I think we'll be able to maintain what we need to do. Because last year they did the same thing, and we were just out of position a lot of times with their rushing. And I think they gained like 170-something yards or 80 yards rushing last year against us. So it wasn't huge, but they hit us for a 60-something yard touchdown run last year because we're just not in the position. So you can't give up 60 yards on one play and then play the rest of the game good when it's a touchdown. So, and you lose by a touchdown, it's a huge difference.
It is. And also being able to just stay mentally composed when there's good, there's going to be some bad, and just as long as the kids don't get out of character and just stay within themselves and continue to rally around themselves when things go wrong, because they know there's always an opportunity for some big plays defensively.
Yeah, we always tell the guys that, look, they get a first down, you just reset the change and you go again. You can't worry about the play. You got to have a real short memory, especially in our secondary. If you let everything bug you, then you're never going to be able to play football. You'll just be a petrified tree sitting out in the forest, right? So you got to let it go. You get it corrected. That's why we have great coaches. Coach Shelton is a great cornerback coach, and Coach Art. They're fantastic in our secondary, and they get these guys ready for every game. So, I've been blessed. I have a great defensive staff. and they are fantastic at getting guys ready. I mean, Todd calls all the plays on the field. I got the two best secondary coaches, and I got Coach Harris who does our line work. And with those guys, it's hard to slip by a lot of things on the field that we don't notice. So it's a matter of just making sure that the kids know and get them in the right spots.
Coach, we graduate the all-time leading tackler in ACU history in Jacob the Hitman Hernandez. Here again, we're going to reload with a guy that we call Tank. Stephon Peters wears number 6. Little different type of player there in the middle there, that Mike Backer spot.
Yeah, he's bigger.
Now you got a guy that can cover a little bit more, gives you some more advantages there. Yeah.
I've had long talks with Tank in our.
I'm sure
I think he uses my room as his resting area for the day because I got a nice cozy chair in there, so he guys just sits back and he chills. But I told him he's got a goal of being an all conference player. I go, no, that's not my goal for you. My goal is for All-American. This is your All-American year. I got a lot of pressure on him right now, but I think he's going to pull through. I think he's one of those guys who could be a huge difference maker. If teams don't look at him as how they're going to play him, then they're going to be really, really in a bad situation because he's going to come up with 15 tackles a game, no problem with that. And he's the type of guy where, he's big enough to play in all those situations in the box, and he's quick enough on the outside to run with people if he has to cover. And what makes him really good is a good student of the game. And I think that's what makes our collective back end, our secondary, they're just really good football players because they're smart football players. They don't just go where the X tells them on the paper to go. They don't just cover. They understand concepts, and they understand what other teams are trying to do to beat them. And that's what makes a good player. I mean, you could take an average player like myself when I was in college. If I'm in the right place, I can do a lot of good things, but if I'm not going to catch anybody athletically. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference with this group. There's a lot of guys who are smart and they can think on their feet during the situation in the game. So,
Coach Jerry Rice, the all-time leading receiver in the National Football League, they said that he didn't have breakaway speed. Never caught Jerry Rice from behind, ever. So
ever.
If you have that footage, we'd like to see that. But, Keith, if we could, before we part ways with you and bring on the fellas, one of those guys is Stephon Peters. But your secondary, Eddie alluded to it, but we got one of the better people in the business in Riley Tucker out of Desert Mountain High School, and 13 career interceptions. Took a different role last year, and it wasn't in that ball hawking position. He was doing it for the team. Now he's kind of maybe gets to play similar role last year, but with some freelance and some creativity to kind of get back to that ball hawking. Your thoughts on Riley Tucker and the human being that he is and what he brings to the table?
I think he's going to be able to do a little bit more. One, he's a quarterback of that secondary. I mean, he can tell everybody where they need to go. Mm-hmm. So that's special in itself. But I think with Francis in the mix, in the safety, and we're looking at him being a starter there, it's going to allow Riley to be a little bit more adjustable wherever we need him.
Good.
So wherever situation we find ourselves, we can always insert somebody to take the spot where he was that's going to be good, a good football player. And Francis is one of those guys. But, Tuck's going to be able to come down in the box. He might have more tackles than he's ever had in his life this year. But he'll be able to play that game that – you don't know where he's at. If you're the quarterback and you're saying, okay, I got to find Riley Tucker wherever he's at in the secondary, he may not be there. He might be somewhere where he's not expected to be. Mm-hmm. And that's where you get your picks. I mean, I know that's where he suckers a lot of those guys into throwing balls to him his first and second year where, they didn't even know he was out there. And he just snuck in and got it. So I expect that to happen a little bit more often. And I'm hoping he gets a few more picks. That would be great. We need a lot of ball turnovers this year. So
agree.
Absolutely.
We have a ball turnover thing for our team. We signed the ball and put it in our locker room. So hopefully we'll max it out this year. Have just covered with autographs.
Coach Antonio Horrison, one of those guys in the mix defensively at the corner position, and we've got some new talent to introduce to you on Saturday evening as well.
Yep.
For Keith Sewell, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Coach.
I'm pumped up. Not quite Coop pumped up after a conversation with Coop, but I tell you what.
Is he coming on this show?
We haven't had him on yet.
We got to get him on.
I don't know what's going on with that.
You need to force him on here. I'm calling him out right now. If you can hear me, I'm calling Coop out.
Let's extend the invitation to get Coop on the program. We'll check in with J.D. Hamby, another guy that could just turn and burn for you. He's got some wheels. He'll get it done for us if Tim didn't have an opportunity to do so. All right, don't go away. More conversation right here on the Storm Report. Stephon Peters and the franchise. Tyler Duncan, straight ahead. We welcome you back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. For the Storm Report, I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside my broadcast partner, Ed Cole. And joining us in the middle is Tyler Duncan and Stephon Peters. We call him Tank. We call Tyler TD. And before we get any further, we want to congratulate Mr. Tyler Duncan. Deuces today, 22. So happy birthday to Tyler Duncan.
Thank you.
22.
22.
You remember those days, Kev?
I tell you what, that was my wheelhouse as I went back.
Yeah, me too.
Those were some good days. But we welcome the fellas. Tyler, I'll start with you. It's a two-part question. Tank, this is also for you. When we talk about leadership, you guys are selected as captains by your peers. Congratulations to you both. Well-deserved. And just the idea of leadership, what does it mean to you, respectively? What does leadership mean to you both?
It means people are following us. They listen to what we're saying, and they see that we have a purpose and a part in the team, so it means a lot that they're willing to listen to us and follow us and lead us to the next level.
Just backing up off of Tyler, we actually just found this out just now. I hadn't even been named to the team, but
You guys just found out you're captains right now?
Yeah.
Just on the air
Right
here.
now.
Right.
Really?
Jeff Bowen, that is fantastic TV right there.
breaking news right
That
there.
is good stuff. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Proceed, Six.
But just knowing that we're respected by our teammates, and because these captain votes are mostly by our teammates and our coaches put in votes too, but just knowing that we can lead them into the right direction of just this season and being their leaders on the field, being vocal and leading in the right way in the classroom and on the field is just something we pride ourselves in this culture at ACU.
So, Tank, you've been grooming yourself as a leader. This is your fourth year in the program. For you to elevate and get this achievement of being a captain, that's got to make you feel good, knowing that Coach B and all the other the coaching staff put that responsibility on you. They saw that in you, that they would be able to instill that in you to be a captain.
Absolutely. You don't get this at most schools in the country, but Coach Bowen preaches on player-led team. So this is big for us. We strive and player-led and just being able to lead our guys in the right direction. So it's big on our part, and we take super much pride in just leading our team in the right way and just being them with school, with faith, with family, future football, and that's something we just love to do here.
One of the traits of being a leader is how you carry yourself on and off the field. And I think one other attribute of that is how you condition yourself, how you prepare in the offseason, how you come into camp, whether you're in shape physically or you're not. And I know, Tyler, we've talked a little bit. You've come into shape, maybe in some of the best shape in your life, and you look fantastic. You've bulked up a little bit, added some muscle. And Tank, what I've seen in practice from you, anytime we're blowing the whistle on the offense, the only guy in the backfield is Stephon Peters. So, we got a lot of good things going on. But if you would, just what's the testament to you guys coming into shape and leading that way?
Yeah, well, the training staff at DST definitely got us in that position. We both live here and train here all summer, so it's a big testament to them, to the team, pushing us and getting better each day.
Yeah, just pushing them each and every day. I could have went back home to Florida this summer, but I decided to stay out here with the team because it's my senior year. So I just want to give them all and lead in the right way, lead by example. So being here in the summer was super big for us. We had the biggest group we ever had all summer in the program. So just leading into the right direction in the season. Summer is important and workouts are important.
And TD, for your physical nature of the quarterback that you are, did you take that on yourself to say, okay, I've got to bulk up, I got to get a little bit stronger, knowing that this is my last ride here. I'm going to be physical every single play. I'm going to run the football. I'm going to be just as much of a runner as much as I am a thrower. So I need to get my body in physical shape for those rigors of a 10-game season and that physicality and those bumps and those hits you're going to take.
Yeah, definitely. Injuries happen with my collarbone. I definitely took pride in that and getting my weight up and just getting physically better in every aspect. So, yeah, I got stronger and everything like that and faster. So, it's definitely I'm in the best shape I feel like.
Coach Sewell had talked about Stephon Peters and one of his goals here in the offseason, and maybe represent the Sooner Athletic Conference in a pretty big way. But you have more aspirations than that. Coach Sewell talked about maybe the potential to be an All-American. I know, Stephon, you and I talked about this a few times during the offseason. Just that goal of yours to finish this season with success with your football team, success as a human being, continue to develop spiritually, And then maybe at the end of the year, as Coach Bowen would say, hey, let's let the dust settle and see what happens. Maybe an All-American honor is in store for you. What would have to happen for that to come true for you, Stefan?
I think just like leading this group in the right way and just focusing on day by day and stacking days. And I think just like growing as a team throughout the whole year. Like our coaches talked about, you don't see many All-Americans on 2-8 teams or 3-7 teams. So just focus on game by game. Like Tech West is this week. We focus on this week. We can't think about the national championship and what that is to take care of. So just like focusing week by week, and the rest of the accolades will come. I care about my team wins, the stats, and the All-American honor. That'll play a part. So.
Tank, how have you grown as a man in these 4 years?
I think being here just spiritually has helped me out the most, growing in my faith each and every day. That's what's just grown and helped me to grow. I wasn't that big when I first got here, but these coaches just pushing me to grow in my faith each and every day, and my walk with God is something I've grown tremendously, and that's made me grow up. Like 4 years ago, I would have never been a team captain at all. So growing in that aspect has helped me, and that's something I'm continuing to grow in. Like it's a relentless effort with God.
Tyler, we look at the offense. We just go to the other side of the ball, just so seemingly easy like that. But, Tyler, we talk about you being the quarterback, and we've mentioned with Coach Bowen about the line changes. But we talk about the receivers, if you would, again, just a little bit. Who have you started to find some early season chemistry with, and who could we maybe see a little breakout on Saturday night here at Firestone Field?
The periods in practice set everything up in place. The connection and the chemistry get down in practice. So I feel like I have chemistry with everyone, and I trust everyone to get in the place that I need them to be at. A few of them, DJ, Zach, Derek, BJ, Clayton, Jonah, all of them. I feel comfortable with all of them, and that we're going to do some big things.
TD, when it comes to your running back crew, we know this team loves to run the ball. You got Cole Davis coming back, Arion Ward's coming back, of course, Aiden Quinn's coming back, Maurice Rocket. What do you like about your running group? A lot of guys that you're very familiar with.
Yeah, Aiden, of course, that's my guy. It's going to be hard to stop. If they want to try to stop him, then we have Rocket. Then we have Tyrese. So we have everybody coming back, so they're not going to know who to count for and who to try to target. They won't be able to account for any of them.
How about those backs? Who's developed as a receiver in those running backs in that room right there? Because Aiden hadn't had a touchdown reception in his entire career. He's all-time leading rusher here at ACU. Didn't have very many catches. Got in the box last year once, maybe even twice. So we know Aiden can catch the football, but do you trust him to throw him the ball?
Yeah, I trust Aiden to get the ball down. Yeah,
absolutely, we do.
You had to throw that in there, didn't you?
I just like to give Aiden the business.
Of course.
That San Francisco Giant bloodline that he's been raised with has systemically created challenges in this household, but that's okay. We can work with that.
So TD, as a quarterback, you've got all this wealth of talent at your disposal. That's got to make you feel good, knowing you've got all of this to throw to and hand the ball off to. You got a strong offensive line that's developing. You got to feel good right about now, don't you?
Yeah, I feel great. It makes my job a lot easier. Just to take it one step at a time and to talk to Bone and go over the plays and what's going to be here if they give us this formation or this look on defense, just to target them and target their weak points and make the most out of it.
On the ACU football coaching staff, we have an unbelievable storyteller, a guy that's has played the position. He's has Canadian Football League roots. I'm talking about Coach Steph Kreck. So I've got to ask you, Tyler, about the development that you have shown and been able to experience, your growth with Coach Kreck. What's it like having that interaction with him? You guys get your own private time, whatnot, but a tremendous wealth of knowledge for you, and he's played it and coached at many levels, so it's got to be a treat for you to have that wealth of knowledge here at your disposal.
Yeah, definitely. He's so knowledgeable in the game of football, especially in the quarterback position. He breaks down film. We go over things and just shows me the progression I have to make, the reads, and why won't this be there, why it will be, and just the main keys to look for in a defense.
So Kev talked about Coach Kruk. Let's talk about Coach Sewell for you. He talked about how you like to spend a lot of time in his office, just trying to build relationships and just kind of catching a break from life. So what's it like learning under Coach Sewell and his leadership?
I think learning from Coach Sewell, he just always puts us in the right position defensively. Like we said, we have a bunch of depth this year, so just like going over plays with him in his office, going over the game plan, and just knowing what film we got to study this week and what we got to do this week. It's just always having a great relationship with him makes me play better on the field.
And having that depth, does that take pressure off of you?
Absolutely. We have, like you said, like 3 other linebackers that can play. We got Deontay back. We got Joel back from 2 years ago, a new linebacker named Travis. Our secondary, Riley's leading our secondary, and a great defensive line. So that just puts us like all in the right positions. We'll be able to get breaks and be fresh. It's a long game, so that helps us out a lot.
The pride of Westview, you mentioned Joel Zorita had an impact his first couple of years on that defense for Coach Sewell. So we welcome back Joel. And we also want to welcome back Tim Gosen. He puts on our show each and every week. And Robert Nielsen, he's moved on to new endeavors. So, Robert, if you happen to be tuning in tonight, we wish you well, my friend. Thank you for all of your help. And, of course, J.D. Hamby here. And Devin's also now part of the mix for Mr. Gosen.
It's my DMV guy, Devin Williams.
That's right. The Department of...
No.
Go there.
D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Get it right.
Got it right. So, for everybody associated with this evening's program, the Storm Report, we thank you very much for being a part of tonight's broadcast. We extend the invitation to pack it, as I say, as the Firestorm play host to Texas Wesleyan Saturday evening right here on campus at Arizona Christian University. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Ed Cole and I will have all the action for you about 6:45 with some pregame. Kickoff at 7 p.m. But we ask the fans to come out and be loud and proud, support Wear Your Red. I don't know if we have a theme going on, but just be loud. It's going to be gold. It'll be marigold, our ACU colors. So come out wearing the marigold, and there is a seat for you. We've got plenty of seating available. In fact, our goal is to sell the place out, and we have an opportunity to do so. These young kids would love to have the fan base there, so we're pumped up. Ed, you and I, we've talked about it for a couple days now. We are geeked up for this one.
Absolutely. I cannot wait for Saturday night football. We can finally say Saturday night football in Glendale here at Arizona Christian University. It's going to be on Saturday night.
Under the lights, Stephon Peters and Tyler Duncan will be on display. For all of our guests on tonight's show, we thank head coach Jeff Bowen, Keith Sewell, and everybody associated with this evening's podcast. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Kevin Derryberry, and so long for now.